Welcome. We call this meeting to order. It's 1:30 p.m. Thank you everyone for joining us here in New Orleans for our Stock Outboard Commission meeting. We'll get into some meeting specifics. Commissioners all should have agendas. I think it might be one or two short, but share with your partner if you need it. It's the same one that was emailed out to you, so nothing new has been added. Meeting specifics, this is the 122nd APBA annual meeting. A few guidelines for this week for our meetings. Please refrain from drinking any alcoholic beverages while in attendance. Please remember we are here serving the APBA membership that elected us to each of our positions. You represent the decisions, right, to be made on their behalf and should be reflected accordingly. Robert's rules will be followed to the best of our ability. Okay, so if you'd like to be called on, raise your hand. I will acknowledge you. If you're not acknowledged, you are expected to be quiet, please. Motions must be made. A second must be received prior to discussion being held. We'll take a brief moment of silence. So I'd ask you to bow your heads to recognize those folks we have lost during the 2025 season. Thank you. Introductions and roll call. Caitlin, you want to handle that?
Sure. Region 1, Chris Stager.
Here.
Region 3, Dave Brysocker.
Here.
Region 4, Matt D'Agostino.
Here.
Region 4, Chief Inspector Kurt Romberg.
Here.
Region 4, Stock Outboard Chairman Sean Brysocker.
Here.
Region 5, Nick Hooten.
Here.
Region 6, Ed Hearn.
Here.
Region 6, Tom Johnston.
Here.
Region 6, Dana Holt.
Here.
Region 7, Ryan Burdick.
Here.
Region 7, Holden Mackey.
Here.
Region 9, Pam Wild.
Here.
Region 10, Lee Sutter.
Here.
Region 10, Carl Lewis.
Here.
Region 4, Chief Referee John Runny. I believe
He is
no,
excused.
Yes. And Region 4, Chief Scorer, myself.
Thank you. As we do at the national meeting every year, I'd ask everyone to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I hereby swear or affirm under oath that I will support the Articles of the Association, bylaws and rules of the American Powerboat Association, and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of my position as a member of the Stock Outboard Commission.
Discharge my duties. What he said.
Of the American Powerboat Association. Back on track. For the term of my office to the best of my skill and ability.
For the term of my office to the best of my skill and ability.
Thank you.
Memory sucks. Was the intent?
All right, so next on the agenda is the chairman's report. So a couple things to kind of go over, and then a quick point I want to make. Your commission has 9 returning commissioners from 2024, or 2025, excuse me. And the people that are new to us, right, are former commissioners as well. So TJ came back to us. Dana Holt, I believe you've been a commissioner before, right?
Yes.
So we welcome those folks that are new to us this year. In case anybody was wondering, the board passed a bylaw that changes the length of term for the commissioners. And so our commissioners are now 2-year terms. Okay, so you guys are stuck, sorry.
That's effective with this past election.
Correct. So everyone that is elected, right, is a 2-year term, and then those at-large positions are 1-year terms. So I think this is a really good thing for the commission, right, to have continuity, right, and have the same people talking and making decisions and having to be fully accountable for your decisions, right, that we make here. So I'm excited to hear that happen. Our category awards, the Menzies and the Waldman Awards went to Billy Allen. The Craig DeWald Award went to James Klein. The Tamy Dawe Award this year went to Caitlin Glossner. The Steve Norrie Service Award went to Tom Fairburn. Let's see here. Hall champions this year, Sean Byrne, Carson Kelly, and James Klein were your inductees. Stock had a boat racing, I should say, but Stock particularly had a tough year this year, Outboards in general. My club, my home club, if you will, hosted the Nationals in Springfield, and was the toughest race I've ever had to go through because of what happened. So it has spurred good discussion, I will say. For those of you that aren't familiar with the commission, right, the former President Fairchild asked us to really kind of lean into some of the safety stuff, and it has spurred more conversations of, hey, what can we do to keep ourselves safer, if there's anything, right? So a lot of that has generated conversations, which I think is always a good thing, right? We should always be looking at ourselves and how we can do better. That's all I got for that. Appointment of committees, we'll go through here. Our tech committee is chaired by Tom Johnston. Members are Kurt Romberg, Scott Clark, Roger Carr, and Matt D'Agostino. I need a motion to approve that committee.
So moved.
Go to second.
Second.
Any objections? Motion passes. 300 committee. Dave Brysocker is the chair. Members include Lee Sutter, Tom Johnston, Carl Lewis, Kyle Ball, Pam Wild, Mike Pavlik, and Rick Sandstrom. I entertain a motion to approve that committee.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any objections? No. Dave, as 300 chairperson, I'd asked you for a report. Do you have that in front of you? Or you want to give an update on 300 class, please?
Sure. The 2025 300 Superstock Hydro season included 66 participants, having raced at 23 race weekends across the country. The national championships included 17 starters and 2 elimination heats. There were 2 proposals relating to the 300 class this fall and winter. One was approved that allows drivers to install a plate or a baffle on the starboard side of the motor that limits the flow of air into the airbox. This proposal was passed by the SORC. There was also a request for a change on the minimum weight from 420 to 440, but that proposal failed. Propellers. One of the 3-blade national propellers was identified as difficult to get on plane. Another was damaged during the 2025 Nationals. Both were sent back to Craig DeWald for adjustment. The approved monies for an additional 10 3-blade propellers have been secured from the SORC and the Historical Society and paid to DeWald Props. As of 1/26/26, the castings have been made, holes drilled, and it's expected that they will be complete within the week. Still true?
Correct.
Okay. This will bring the total to 26 3-blade national use only props. In addition, TJ reports that there are approximately 25 2-blade props available. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Of note, the SORC currently owns 2 300 sealed engines located in my garage in Hampstead. So if you'd like to help get those out of my garage, it'd be great.
How many?
2.
Okay.
So one's a 302 and one's a 321. Yes, sir.
Whose were they?
They were, the 302 came from the Marquards, Charlie Marquard. You already have these on your list, TJ. These
Okay.
these are old. We've had them for 2 years now, or a year and a half. But yes, anybody that wants to get in the 300, any club that would like a 300 engine, we have them ready to go. So if you need an engine, please reach out.
And then there's one more engine that Rick Sandstrom had Sean Burns seal, never been run, ready to go in the 300 class for sale,
All right.
and it's in Seattle.
Okay.
That's
So
the
you got-
Seattle Outboard Association motor.
Very good. You got 2 on the East Coast and 1 on the West. Next up is the Tamy Dawe Advocate Award Committee. Jeff Conant is the chair. Jean McCray Schwartz, Don Allen, Joe Glossner, and Roger Hewson are the members. Entertain a motion to approve that committee. Any objections? Motion passes. Next on the list is reports by our officials. So we'll start off with our chief inspector, Mr. Ronberg.
25 was a quiet year from the inspector's perspective. There were no significant items outside the normal questions and answers that occurred. Rule changes in 25 that affect inspection were minimal. Hal Roskowski and I inspected at the 25 Springfield Nationals. Brian Mitch lent a hand and became very prolific at teardown inspection. Kudos to Brian for jumping in. Obviously, the weather played a key role at the Nationals, and we ended up doing a lot of racing on Friday, which is always a headache for the inspectors because we don't get engines until the end of racing, and then we get inundated. After the racing stopped and we could, all 3 of us, get into the tent, motors were getting done at a rate of about 20 minutes if the mechanic had the right tools and experience. Even with that, we didn't close the tent until after 1 a.m. TJ did topo, who wasn't able to help at Springfield because he had some medical issues. In the middle of April last year, April 22, 23, I was in Fond du Lac for some Mercury training. It's good training with one of the engineers that worked on the development of the small 4-stroke, the 915/20. Good stock racing motor, as most things that people will try to do will hurt performance. Playing with the restrictor by removing or making the hole larger will produce a map fault and put the motor in guardian mode. You'll need to key cycle the motor to clear the fault. Octane will hurt the performance. I'm giving this report while being a newly elected APBA president. The position of president increases the time spent doing APBA stuff exponentially. We need to look for a replacement for me. For next year or 2, I'm happy to train and mentor somebody, and will be happy to work inspection for as long as I can, but that may come to an end sooner than later.
Any questions for the chief inspector? Thank you, Kurt. John Runny is not able to be here. I did speak with him. Basically, nothing from a rulebook perspective came to him for review in the 2025 season. John was the referee at the Nationals this year for us. Didn't have much to add from the chief referee of Stock Outboard's perspective. Next is the Stock Outboard Chief Scorers Report. So I'm going to go ahead and Kate.
In 2025, the Stock Outboard National Championships were a part of a combined category event in Springfield, Ohio. For Stock Outboard, there were 198 boats registered across eliminations and finals from 10 classes. The 2025 Stock Outboard Marathon Nationals was in Indian River, Michigan, and saw a total of 87 boats registered. This excludes J Runabout and AX Runabout. That 87 number is comprised of 5 classes. With the transition to an online membership database through Trackside, scorers were able to easily confirm memberships throughout the 2025 season and even insist in membership registration on site. As we move into 2026, certain races will plan to beta test online race registration through Trackside. If you are a club hosting a race testing the Trackside registration or a driver attending, please have patience and willingness to try something new. In the near future, most races will be expected to use the Trackside race registration, and hotspots will be available for rent at sites where internet and cell reception is compromised. As for the scoring portion, we will continue to operate as normal until otherwise notified. The preferred method of operation currently is utilizing our pre-existing Excel document and emailing results to a category point of contact for high point tracking. For Stock Outboard right now, that's Joe Glossner. The online scoring portion from Trackside is approximately 70% complete, and we hope to start beta testing that as soon as possible. If you're interested in learning more about Trackside, they are here this week and are hosting a demo on Friday at 1:30 p.m. If you're available, I encourage you to attend to better understand what has been accomplished thus far and what's still to come. Thank you for having me as your stock outboard chief scorer for another year, and I look forward to helping scorers across the country with Trackside transition and hope to make it a seamless one.
Any questions for the chief scorer? Thank you for your report, Kate.
Yep.
We're gonna pivot real quick, as Mr. Fairchild is here to give us an equipment update on the OMCA gear case.
APBA a couple of years ago embarked on trying to find out the validity of reproducing the A gear case. Sam LaBanco was an original designer for OMC, understood the drawings very well. It's taken us a while to get legal ownership of any parts and pieces left to reproduce that gear case, thanks to a gentleman named Bill Gore. He has done an extensive amount of work. APBA fully owns that gear case now. We own the tooling, we own the drawings. It will be an APBA gear case. All the T's are dotted, the I's are crossed for the most part. Nothing can be perfect, but it is ready to go into production. Naturally, there is an investment that APBA has to make into it to get it going. Should APBA board approve that, our goal is to potentially have new gear cases ready to go by the end of the season, but if not the end, by the first part of next season. The gear cases are based on the OMCA gear case, a few different updates. There's gonna be a keeper ring to keep the prop shaft seals from pushing out of it. The water pump will be taken from the front of the prop shaft and put up on top of the housing like we're used to seeing in the stock gear cases. My understanding is that is an OMC stock water pump that they put on top of that gear case. The drive gear is the same as what's out there today. The prop shaft is not, because the front of it's been cut off, nothing's splined. The drive shaft, for all intents and purposes, is the same, except it's grown taller because of the space for the water pump. So if you had an old A gear case and you wanted to put a new drive shaft in it, you'd shorten up your shaft. The coupler is the same. It's going to be your extension drive shaft that you'd have to modify. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
Do you guys have any idea how much they would cost at the end of the day?
$19.95 is where we're starting with at this point. I made 4 or 5 phone calls to find out where an A gear case is at to see if that was a tolerable number. I leave it up to Ed Hearn to tell me if that's a tolerable number after this meeting, and then Ed and I there's going to be like this sumo inflatable wrestling match thing we're going to do later on to come up with that number. That's it's projected price. Yes, sir.
Will this gear case from APBA be purchasable through APBA, or are we going to have to go through a dealer
APBA
with the Yamatos?
APBA. Yes, sir.
Will it work on the current engines the A-foot works on, like the Mercury and the OMC together, just with the impeller on top?
We know it fits in the OMC tower housing. Quite frankly, none of us thought about adapter plates in the Mercury housing, but my assumption is it will. There was a question about a water tube needing to be changed. So, you know, our intention was that yes, it's to be used on everything. Mr. Hearn has asked not to have bolt holes drilled in a few of the housings. Again, there's a wrestling match just before the Hall Champions banquet. We'll get that sorted out.
I'm gonna need help.
And I agree with this public shaming, just to understand, so. Anything else?
How much power will it absorb?
I don't know, haven't you been playing with that gear case for about 40 years? How much power will it absorb?
Yeah,
It is based on that gear case. It is original drawings. It is original gear standards.
Okay.
Labanco said when they built it, they expected it to hold up with 30 horsepower.
Okay,
So,
Thanks.
And I
Yeah.
believe, I'm sorry.
I have done a computerized stress analysis on the original OMC case, and from the data I've found, it's around 32 to 34 horsepower. 32.8.
okay.
And I believe you said, Chris, earlier that 50 was the number for initial production run of those?
50 is, so if the board so chooses to move forward with this project, we are going to set it up to where we can build 50 complete with service parts as well. In order to meet manufacturing price points, to make it cost effective as we can, we're gonna do like 75 housings and 75 gear sets, things like that. A lot of the stuff that's readily available over the counter from vendors, we're gonna order as needed. But the things that have to be custom made, we're better off making a bunch of them.
And APBA is absorbing the cost of the initial run and then, I guess, recouping money as they're sold?
Correct. This is the concept. This is not a pass-through. Just so that when you guys all wanna beat up APBA, APBA must find ways to generate income. Cause we can't keep doing it through the membership. Projects like this will be the way that APBA generates income. So make no mistakes about it, dealer cost is not the same as retail. Okay?
Okay, I just want to add one comment to that, though. Don't take the wrong message back to the members. APBA is going to make money off of the sale.
Correct.
But there are a lot of APBA members who have donated their time and effort for this project, along with a lot of all the other projects. So, you know, if somebody were to produce this outside of APBA and all of those hours were accounted for and paid for, the project would be more expensive.
I can tell you that Bill Gore, anybody who goes on media knows that you either love him or hate him. He has not accepted a dime for this. We've made 10 test castings. I'd love to say Olson Casting donated those. They did not. And they have been paid. The individual that paid for those is not looking to get refunded. There have been large amounts of effort to try to get this thing where we're at today. We're at the finish line. Now it just takes an initial investment to get rolling. Johnny?
I know we talked about this, but just to clarify for the people bringing the message back, will this be available just for APBA members, or can anybody off the street buy it from APBA?
I will refer that to Mr. President.
Well, Johnny, we haven't gotten there yet, so let's get to the finish line before we decide how we're gonna
I
get
just know,
it.
you know, every time an OMC foot pops up online, you know, some guys like, I wanna put that on my lake boat and just go run it, and, you know, we try to keep them involved, you know, in our group, but.
So perhaps we would consider a gear case outside of APBA if you buy a membership, because
That's, I'm just.
So, question is duly noted, and since you're a board member, we'll get to discuss that. TJ?
I'll put my name on the list for one right now. I wanna buy one right now.
I need some money, sir, I'm trying to pay for
I
this.
got it, but buy it.
Any other questions? I'm around all weekend, got questions?
Hang on, before he leaves, if you support this, get with your BOD members, because we're gonna be voting on it quickly. So get with your BOD members and say, I support this, I need you to vote for it. Because there's there's a couple BOD members in there, raise your hand if you're on the board.
Is there
Okay,
opposition?
I would hope that we would have these votes. It's the rest of the board that needs to understand why this is a good project.
Well, it seems like if the Racing Commission adopted the part or indicated that it would provisionally approve the part pending its manufacture, that would also send a nice message to the board. We support
You think
this.
that this board is listening to that?
Yeah, I would hope.
You would hope. Think so. Get with your BOD members and tell them you support this.
Yeah, okay.
No hope.
Apparently now I gotta go to pro, because that's a good point, and I gotta go to pro, because they run it on the K-Pro. Any other questions?
I'm on next.
For Formula A.
Yeah.
125.
Yeah, I mean, all the kneel down categories need this, so.
I understand, but I do agree with Ed,
Yeah.
and we're doing it right this weekend. Having a note from the Stock Outboard Commission saying that you would adopt this if manufactured helps. So now I gotta go find Mod, and I gotta go find Pro, because
Mod was this
you're smarter than I
Yeah,
am.
they're not working right now.
Oh, okay.
Some of your road commissioners are back there.
Okay, Mod commissioners that are here, get the Mod Commission to give the board that letter, so that we can have the support of the categories that need us, please. Anything else?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
That's it. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chris.
I'm around all week.
Approval of annual meeting.
Okay. Number 7 on our agenda, approval of the annual meeting agenda as emailed. Would entertain a motion to do that.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Manufacturers' reports. Is Alex Polikoff here? No. Okay. Alex sent me one for Tohatsu. Since he's not here, I will go ahead and read it for him. Production of the Ram 50 race engine as a complete package is on hold. I'm dealing with a couple of situations here, neither of which will be resolved in the next 18 months. To begin, as of 3 years ago, a legal matter surfaced between Tohatsu and the US EPA, where Tohatsu Japan concluded it would no longer bring the M50D two-stroke engine into the US. This was 3 years ago and has not been resolved. The issue resulted in my being unable to buy complete M50D motors from which to take power heads. Four strokes are not affected, and I can get those. At the same time, I still maintain a complete stock of M50D components to include new short blocks, carburetors, ignition, cowlings, and other peripherals needed for power heads to be built. However, building a race engine package from piece parts is both time-consuming, subject to parts availability, as well as higher cost. I know you have questions, so I hope to attend the meeting and be afforded some time. As many already know, during this period, Sid Bass encountered serious health concerns, which resulted in a major slowdown, and ultimately his decision to sell his business to Kelly Kidwell. In my discussions with Kelly, he intends to begin building the drive system parts. At the present, there are not any new towers, brackets, or gear feet available. I've spoken with Kelly and I've offered my assistance. Naturally, all this is lead time anyway. Again, I know you have questions. In the 4-stroke new engine area, there is good news, in my opinion. The 15 and 20 injected motors I see approved in fishing motor form. The M60 is on the table, and he's able to provide parts and tech support for all those motors, the 15, the 20, and the 60. In closing, I would like to add that I've been back from boat racing since 2006. Started in a D in 63. I've been running the 3-cylinder Tohatsu D, as well as filling in with 44 mods and 850 mods when they were short. 20 years in the water, besides the rest of you dubs here in APBA and O'Connor Hydro. Other than I'll save the rest.
You're in this far.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and draw the line there. So that is what I got from Alex on the D Tohatsu 2-stroke engine. TJ, you got anything from the Yamato perspective?
Well, not much. I know that Ricky's got 50 or 60 motors. Won't sell them. He does have a few parts for the older motors, and I keep picking away at that stuff. I've been getting motors from Mike Ward. I get 1 year or 2 a year, and I just made one into a C motor, and the next one I get, I'm going to make into a 300 motor. But if you have 2 motors, why? You know, if I can get one of those, I know I have somebody looking for one right now. This is in southern Indiana. But, but anyway, I've been getting 1 or 2 motors a year. Every time they get motors, I get one. Like work gives me one. So.
Parts and pieces, you're doing okay, TJ?
Yes, I have pistons. I have 80 pistons for the 300 series. I converted 10 standard and 10 oversized pistons for the 102. I have probably 150 oversized rings at $43 a piece, and I have probably 100 standard rings. So, and I got like I have gaskets. Every time I ordered anything, I ordered 50 of this or 100 of that, you know. So, I have lots. I ship same day, next day. Not like Ricky, same month, next year.
That's for the phone call.
Yeah.
Any questions for TJ?
No, thank you, TJ.
I did reach out to Mike Ward. He didn't get back to me. That was a couple weeks ago. But I think that situation's been what it is for the past however many years, right? He gets a batch of motors, right? He breaks them up and he sends them over. So. All right, next up is Sidewinder. So, chatted with Dave Woodall last week. Dave had a whole bunch of things going on, including some family, personal stuff that he had to deal with, so he didn't give me a written report. So, for those of you in the audience, I'll read out. TJ and him got together, and TJ wrote up something. So I will just read that and then add a few things that Dave told me. So in production now, Dave has gear sets, gear cases, piston rings, limited pistons from existing castings. He still has some standard stocks or pistons in stock. Sleeves and rods are in the works as well. I have completely new from parts 15 in stock. So he's got a 15 Sidewinder top to bottom ready to go at his shop. I have a lot of 20 cubic inch blocks and pistons, lots of rod bearings, card parts, as well as complete units. Working on flex plate flywheels, but have machined OMC style, but just not painted yet. Lots of gasket sets, working on an order of head gaskets, prop shafts, drive shafts, impellers, spray shields, rope plates, ignition control units. He also told me that he is getting rings made, so he's gonna have something like 500 sets of rings made, based on production, right? They kind of force you to make an X amount, so they're all being made. I will tell you from my perspective, this is good news for us because this project has sat kind of idle, right, for the past 3 years, 4 years. I mean, since we lost Ed running, basically, right? For those of you who didn't know, I'm sure most of you do, but Ed was pretty much a one-man show, right? He did a lot of this work in his shop by himself. He answered the phone, he did the warranty work, and then he also built new motors, right? So Dave is trying to be fairly strategic about getting people the parts that they need to keep existing motors on the water, but also, you know, trying to forge a path forward for him to be able to provide net new engines, right, to the A class.
I got some parts on order now for a gear case, but he's supposed to send it, but like you said, he's having some problems right now. And at the Nationals, he delivered some parts I needed to put a gear case together and a crankshaft. He sent me the picture. Here's number 2 out of 15 that he had to work on it. So he's working at it.
He is, and that was the other piece is he mentioned the gear cases, right? He's putting together order of 25, I think, a run of 25 gear cases for the Sidewinder A.
With all the unclarity of the Sidewinder over the last several years, might not it be a good idea for either him or someone to put something in propeller to summarize what you just get the country needs to know A, what's going on, B, who is he, and how do you get a hold of him?
Yeah.
It's kind of a myth, like David Woodall, where's he I mean, it needs to be like broadcasts in the propeller. Here's my contact, here's everything, and here's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
To put people's minds at ease a little bit.
And that is a great question, kind of who is he? I mean, he bought out Cellwatch, I guess, and is he now the phone number you call for Sidewinder? And those are all good questions.
Yeah. So yes, I don't know the business end of it and how that all went down, but he's making the parts now, right? Yes, sir.
Did he quote you a price on that 15 that's available?
No.
Okay, just curious.
It said in the last text I got from him, he said it was ready to test. Now that was, in the Northeast, so
yeah,
you gotta wait for warm water. And it had an OMC ignition on it because he does not have the flex plate flywheel.
I passed along that message, and again, asked for a formal report, and asked him also, hey, do you want people to call you directly? Is that the avenue in? So, he told me he'll get me that. Again, he's just got some stuff he's dealing with, so as soon as I get it, I'll push it out to the commission, and then probably broadcast it as well. Cal?
When you're ready to do all the broadcasting too, I can make up something for the propeller and get it over to Jeff.
Perfect. I will take you up on that. Thank you. All right, the other piece was APBA. Mr. Fairchild came in and talked to us about the gear case. They also have 14 20 horsepower engines in stock. So they bought engines for the J category basically, but they are open, it's a legal engine in the B class. So certainly if you need an engine, they're available, and they ship from Nashville, he said, Tennessee.
Just to clarify, I think from this morning, didn't we clarify, Kurt, that you have to get your own conversion kit, steering bar, and they don't come?
You just get the fishing engine.
Yeah, you just get the fishing engine, and you
bought
can,
anywhere.
Right.
the guys who are running 4 strokes today, but there's not a kit. You do it piece by piece, right?
Right.
Corbis is gonna has plans to put together a kit, which would be great.
Yep.
But until that happens, you gotta do it piecemeal.
Right, correct.
As of right now, I do have the steering bars, the throttle
Saw
linkage,
that,
all
yeah.
that other stuff. The only thing he's failing for the kit is a kick-out bracket, but I talked to him today. He said that he's gonna go ahead and make one, so he will have a full kit available. I have his business card. We have 3 sets of steering bars, ignition, and the kill switch, the throttle. If you wanna purchase it, they are for sale. You find me or John Hoffman back there. We have them. They're for sale. We have his business card, anything like that. He's ready to go, basically.
And unofficially also, obviously Mike Ackerstrom's working on it with Brown Tool and Machine, and Jimmy Shane has got several kits put together. And again, these are all off the market, so to speak, deals, but looks like it's progressing well to be able to get kits to make them functional.
And I spoke to my father, sorry Ed, I spoke to my father this morning. He and Corbis, we live in the same area. He's gonna make literature, so the person that doesn't know anything can look at their fishing motor and go, okay, this picture, this picture, this picture, so you know exactly what to do to put it from fishing to racing.
Beautiful.
With instructions.
With instructions.
I said IKEA style.
Ed,
Yeah, basically, yeah. I called him up and he was like, yeah, I'll do it, whatever you guys want. So I was like, okay, cool, thank you.
Along the same vein for manufacturer's report, Andy Kurtz made a adapter for the Hangkai 15 cubic inch engine, which is the 18 horsepower, to adapt the OMC gear case to it. This is it. This is 3D printed, I guess. So this is not the product, but this is what it'll look like. He made this for the existing OMC gear case, but he's also told me, I don't know, is Andy in the room?
Yeah.
Right here.
Andy, you want to explain this?
I guess.
Stand up.
So it's similar to the OMC adapter. The only problem is between the Hangkai and the OMC gear foot, there's 2 bolts that overlap. So it's actually it's got to be a 3-piece design. Says the same location for the water pickup tube that the OMC style does. And being that now I have these bolt patterns set in my computer, I can adapt it to anything. I can adapt it to a Mercury. I can adapt it to any power head. With that, and talking about the new gear case being created, if we actually moved the bolt holes, it could go back down to a 1-piece design, just like the OMC adapter has been. So that's where the topic has came about. If they left no holes in the gear case, and you guys we could put our own bolt pattern in it. Which at that point, I can make templates that you would drill your own holes. You could pick the pattern you want, and you could drill your own holes in your lower unit, and then it would adapt to the adapter that I could create for you. Like he said, I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of time on machining these or whatever. He said if it was approved, then I'm going to make 10 right off the rip. And then, but if there was more, then obviously I'll do a bigger order. But for him, he wants 4, so I'm gonna make 10 off the rip.
I don't How about,
Well,
Hangkai came last week.
Why don't we pass it around? Here, I'm just gonna start up here.
Pass it this way.
So, just to expound on that, so if the gear case is made with no holes in it for mounting, then you would not need the two pieces there, it would just be one piece.
It would be a one-piece design. But as it currently says, you'd still use your old OMC case right now. If you had one in your trailer with that design, you can use that gear foot. And then I can make a second revision for the new gear cases that are being created.
Nick, and then James.
Just a comment, if Ed drills his for a Hangkai, and I buy it from Ed, but I have an OMC or a Mercury or something different, think about it. See if you can come up with a solution. Maybe if any of this gets approved, we talk about you can run this adapter or this one, whatever, to make it work.
I have it all on my computer now.
Where
so
that
I can,
one that he drilled for Hangkai becomes worthless to me now. Just think about that.
Yep.
Very cool.
The answer to that would be the two plates.
Yeah, but we would have to approve
Right.
some kind of combination. So.
and that little block accepts the current gasket that OMC uses or whatever for the tube. So
Okay.
there's no change in that.
With regards to the adapters, because I've been working, Ed's given me the Hangkai 25, which is in the corner right there. With my adapter plate that I've made, we don't know yet if the bolt patterns are the same, but it's the same with mine, is that it would be a one piece if we were to make it out of aluminum, and it'll drop the height of the adapter in half. And mine does not need any of the water tubes or anything from the OMC. It is direct replacement right onto the motor. That's all you need. With regards to the actual piece itself, right now, when my buddy is an engineer with the Army, he did a stress analysis, we can 3D print carbon inlay, carbon chop that adapter, and it will be as strong as aluminum.
I can do the same.
I can currently make a batch of anywhere from 12 to 50, and I can have it ready now. The adapter will also be available to use as a
Any other questions for Andy?
Nick broke it.
Uh-oh. I got a couple of those screws
How
on the
quickly
floor
can
over here.
All right, thank you, Andy.
I think they're all over.
All right, moving on, next agenda item is committee updates. So, new class committee is later on today, so Carl, you're going to that, correct? You can come back to us tomorrow with an update there. The National Safety and Rescue Committee was Wednesday. Dave, you want to update the group?
Yeah, took some notes from the meeting. The offshore rescue team had a presentation about how they prepare, the employees that they have, volunteers, how they deal with all that, and how they keep consistency from race to race. Their funding is often from the promoter, so it was just kind of interesting to hear. They're very professional and take what they do very seriously, so it's good to hear. Also a presentation on neck protection. It seems like we've identified two different types of vertebrae damage specific to unrestrained boat racing. Spine protection devices such as the LEAT, which prevent the head from moving forward and back, left to right, and anti-bucketing devices like a donut type cushion that prevents water from intrusion into the helmet, which prevents pulls on your head while you're in that process. There was two different brands presented for those, iCart and Next Gen. One's a rigid rubber, one's more of a cushion. There's still some discussion about how this is all working and what to do. Also in development of the HIT air systems, good comments from the doctor that they've met with that is at Indianapolis, that's familiar with racing. The only concern there was that there's a lot of pieces in that system that could potentially fail. There is no good solution at the moment for either or both of those problems. So it seems like right now the recommendation is to either go for one or the other. But there is a movement to test and create standards and look at things that they can recommend for us to wear. They're also looking at Snell dates on the helmets, specifically the built-on date versus the year, because the helmets are obviously generally not considered unsafe as built, but the materials degrade over time. So there's some, kind of looking at that to see if we can extend dates beyond the Snell dates based on what date they were actually manufactured as opposed to a certification year. Adding European standards as well.
And they made no motion on it, so it's, the rule is what it is for now, it's still 12 years, I believe. So it's-
The board did approve the addition of the European standards yesterday. So that was added to the rule book.
So Snell or European style helmet?
Yeah. Any questions for Dave? All right, thank you, Dave. Number 10, old business. I need a motion to approve the minutes from last year's meeting, 121st in Reno.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any objections? Motion passes. I need another motion to approve the decisions of the race committees and referees from 2025.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any objections? That motion passes as well. Welcome, Mr. Weber.
How are you?
Would you like a minute for the floor here?
Please, but whenever you're ready, I'm not.
Fire away, perfect
My
timing.
timing is impeccable.
Timing is impeccable.
I'll make this really quick, because some of you probably work here at this. You're not, you're just the president. Good afternoon. For those that haven't heard this or know me, my name is Mark Weber. Been around for a minute. Last year there was an initiative that was supported by many people in the association, including the board of directors, to start a 501c3 called Friends of Powerboating. Since last year, we have obtained and went and got the IRS approval for the 501c3. We have a board of directors. The bylaws will be approved at our next meeting. Our bank accounts are all set up. We have the basics down right now, the address, the accounts. So now we're starting to do a rollout, and it's a kind of a soft rollout because we want to make sure, not that we rush to anything, but what we do it right. Because the 501c3 is important that you do things compliance with the regulations so that we keep our nose clean with the IRS. Not somebody I really want to take on. The officers are myself as president, Gary Miller is the vice president, Linda Howenstein is the secretary, Chris Fairchild is the treasurer, Christy Ellison is a member of the board, Corey Ladd is a member and deputy secretary, Ed Hearn is our legal, and Dana Holt is helping us with PR and some marketing stuff. So we're doing the rollout. What the organization is attempting to do is obviously you need to raise funds. If you make a donation when you join APBA or otherwise, you can send a check however you want to do it. It goes towards our account, and once we build stuff up and we get rolling, we're going to be accepting grants for projects. We are also going out and going to supply or to go after grants for our organization because there are companies that got to give away percentages of their money each year. This is Friends of Powerboating, not Friends of Boat Racing. Although I will tell you, the organization seems to be very liking powerboat racing from what I can tell. So we can do education for safety, kids groups, etc., and multiple ways to give back to the industry of powerboating and obviously racing as well. So we, the other thing that is opportunity that we made sure, and this is in compliance with our regulations, is if you are a club or a region, and let's say, the example I'm using is, you're in a community and you need new docks. They're just, it's time. They're tired out, and it's $20,000. You can go get with us. We'll set up so that it's on the books. You need to raise money. You can go out in your community, individuals, businesses, try to acquire those funds using our tax code, our 501c3. We will acknowledge their a receipt of funds through a letter so that they have it for their tax preparer at the end of the year so that they can legally write it off their taxes and they don't have to worry about an audit, etc. To do that, we are gonna have an administrative fee, we have overhead, we have CPAs, we have tax filings that we have to do, but it's gonna be a minimal number. The idea is that it's a way for you to leverage the 501c3 to help your project for whatever that may be. The example I gave was just one to give you an idea. We can't give out prize money and all that, that's totally different. It doesn't work that way, there has to be tangible assets, etc. That's where we're at. There's going to be much more talked about, and you're going to read about this as we move forward. We came here with the idea, let's get the information out as we keep building the organization. We have had a positive reaction to the opportunity when you renew your membership already, and there people are asking about how do I support this organization, so that seems to be very positive. The board is excited about it, and they, obviously, if you look, they pretty much runs through the association in multiple categories, so I encourage you to reach out to these board of directors if you have any questions. All of us are very approachable. If when you get home you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Both Ed and I monitor that email address. That's my personal cell phone number on there. I got a P.O. box last week because we had that somewhere. We had an entity and nobody wanted their home address on there. So we did that. And we're gonna build a website. We have QR codes. That's gonna be the next round. We need to have a meeting. I need some of this stuff approved before I get too ahead of the game here, because obviously we're board of directors, governed under bylaws. Yes.
I just want to add, and maybe explain, APBA is a non-profit, but it is not a 501c3 non-profit. So this organization can do things like raise funds and give donors a tax-exempt write-off, whereas a donation to APBA would not do. That would not be possible. Because there is a difference between being a nonprofit and being a 501c3 recognized IRS nonprofit. The Friends of Powerboat has both, but APBA cannot do that.
Yes, TJ?
Is there going to be a spot on when you sign up for your membership to donate to this?
Yes, sir. There is right now.
All right.
So, yes.
This is different than the Historical Society, correct?
Yes, it is. Okay, I know you guys are busy. I don't want to. We're around all week. Please, if you have questions, just ask. Ed's here. You and I have been working on this.
Mark sent around some cards, so make sure if you didn't get one, he's got cards that have the information on it.
Just contact information. We're just trying to. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. All right, moving along. Next up is championship reports for 2026. Our first up is Eastern Championships that have been awarded to Jessup, Georgia, and Peace River. Nick Hoot, you want to give us an update there?
Yes, sir. Let me pull it up.
The dates for the event are from April 10th to April 12th. There's a test date on April 9th. Everybody knows where Jessup is. This information is available online. It's a tentative event at the moment, but you can view it on APBA's website. We are going to be hosting the Stock Outboard Eastern Championships. It's also going to be the Southeast Stock Outboard Divisionals. And Marathon. Marathon as well. Marathon will be a Le Mans start, so bring help. There's accommodations, officials, and notes available on the sanction. I believe we're having a driving school, so that'll be Thursday morning.
Okay.
And there's going to be a rodeo across the street in the pasture on Saturday night. So.
Seriously?
Yeah. Bring your cowboy hats. Yeah. Any questions?
How do they register for the rodeo?
Believe me, I asked.
Who's bringing the bull?
Yeah, right. Any questions for Nick for Peace River? All right. Good luck with that, Nick. Next up is the Western Championships, which were awarded to Moses Lake, Washington. Lee or Carl or an SOA rep, anyone want to give that update?
This is the site that we held the nationals on in 2014, 2018. Great park. Moses Lake is 2.5 hours east of Seattle, and we'll run. SOA is running the event, and stock outboard, mod, J, and testing on Friday. So pretty tight course, great park, and we did this last year. So we're seeking approval for this year. Anything else, Carl?
No, that's about what Johnny sent us in his email.
Oh, he just sent you an email?
Well, this is from last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, same site as the Nationals. We always run over there, camping on site, and the hotel got screwed up, or I guess we're in a different hotel or something, but when the sanction comes out, it'll have all the information.
All right, any questions for our SOA folks? Thank you. Next up is the closed course nationals. For stock this year will be at Fulton, New York. I guess I will go ahead and give that report. I talked to Scott Clark at length last week, and the dates are the 17th to the 19th of July. You can get there early. Scott said there's no issue with showing up. It's a campground, right? So you're able to pull in. There's room for your trailer. He has everything going accordingly. The town is really behind the race and supportive from a financial perspective as well. So I think they're excited to to have this event come to their town. So he'll be there a week ahead of time. I know there's some concerns after the last race, but he seems to think that they won't have an issue because him and a couple other members of the club will be there and plan to make sure that everything is ready to go. Trailers are parked accordingly. Ed?
So will there be testing on
Friday? Correct.
All day Friday?
That he's still working that out, but at least I talked to him. We agreed no less than 6 hours.
And so does that mean there will be no racing on Friday, or there will be racing?
There will no racing on Friday.
So the racing will be Saturday and Sunday?
Correct.
Okay.
Is a stock only event. There is no mod classes, I believe, on the sanction. I think he's just putting J on the circular, but I don't think he's got any North Americans or anything, right, Brian? So it's just going to be stock, basically, guys.
So,
hang on, Dana first.
Is there camping, like you just roll up and park in the grass? I mean, is there a camp? Like,
Yeah,
what's
all the information he's working on, putting out like a nice deck or something like that to put out to the public, right? So all the camping information, hotel information, right, will be forthcoming that you guys will have. Lee?
Excuse me. I'm confused. When the presentation was made at the last meeting, there seemed to be a lot of concern about the condition of the water, and it looks like we've gotten through that. But he also, Scott said that there was lots of support coming from the city, and talked about potential bonuses like prize money, low entry fees. The mayor's really behind it. We really got a good thing going. Support it. We don't want to lose this. So, I mean, there's a lot of euphoria, and I haven't seen anything. I mean, it's just like this is our national championship, and where are all these things that were talked about? Am I alone here? I mean, don't we want something at the nationals that's a little bit more than a regular boat race?
And it seems that trying to get everything done on a Saturday and Sunday, like a club weekend, man.
There's no room for error.
There's no room for error, no blowout day.
No, nothing.
I thought originally, wasn't it like Thursday testing and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if I recall from
I will
last
say
year?
this, I would encourage you then to talk to the race committee for the race if you have concerns.
Any of them here?
No.
Well, as a commission, we should have a concern, don't we think? I
Who is
mean,
the-
this is
do
our
we know who
kind
the
of
race
thing.
committee is?
Scott Reed and Scott Clark are the two race chair. Right, so I get it, but think about it too, guy. You're right. There is no room for error with the blowout day, and I expressed that to him when I talked to him. And I, to Ed's point, encouraged possibly starting racing on Friday.
Yeah, at least, at the minimum, do that. I mean.
So
we
he's not.
we haven't read anything. I mean, we've got people that are considering taking 2 or 3 weeks of vacation time to come from the West Coast. And there's no reason, there's no place to stay, we don't know anything about it, and it's our national.
Yeah.
You know.
And it is only 5 months away at this point.
That's correct.
It's 5 months from now. It's not.
I will move that we have an SORC meeting within the next 30 days and respectfully request at least one representative of the race committee to attend that meeting and give us an update on the race.
Second.
All in favor?
More discussion?
Okay.
Kyle?
Is it unreasonable to get them on the phone while we're all here? Not right now, but like.
Oh, let's do it now.
Schedule a time today or tomorrow and get one of those boys on the phone to talk about this. We have the technology. We don't need to do this in 30 days.
Call Reed, he'll pick up.
Reed will pick up if Johnny calls.
Call him.
I'm just suggesting.
It said within 30 days. Within.
Yeah.
Let's do it tomorrow.
I would leave it there.
Call him, put him on speakerphone.
If we decide as a commission that it's turning out to not be a viable race course, do we have a plan B?
No, we're too close. We can't do it.
Yeah,
We said
so
we could
the
at one
point is,
but
like,
not a
we
chance.
can't really take it away and put it somewhere else. I guess we just have to convince them to give it more days.
Well, maybe they got, I don't know, maybe they have some idea, but that's why I think we ought to discuss it with them.
No, I do, I do, I just want to bring that up, like, we can't necessarily decide to put it somewhere else. So what is it that we want from them? Another day? Like, we should have a list of things that we expect them to do when we have them on the phone. Like, we need these things. 2 days is not enough. When was the last time anybody's been to a nationals where there wasn't an incident or a blowout day? Doesn't exist. So we just need to figure out what it is we expect to happen so that they know what to do.
Well, it's my understanding from the people that have been there that a blowout is quite a possibility there.
I think that's anywhere, right? I mean,
How was the
It'd be like
test?
me trying to tell you Wakefield can't get blown out. We all know it.
Don't go crazy.
Well, I think they are somewhat convinced themselves. The lake is huge, and there's different variations that they can set courses. So I don't think that they're that concerned about a blowout, because if the wind's blowing this way, they'll go that way.
Changing a course takes time, a lot.
Yeah, and do they have a floating judges stand? I mean, we made provisions for that. I don't know that they're prepared. That's all.
We ran the race at Dayton, just the stock and the J's, and we ran it in 3 days. And we had wind and had to move the course twice. And I think the chief inspector showed up at the award ceremony halfway through the award ceremony and confirmed that we'd given the trophies to the right people. But that was 20 years ago. Participation is less than it was 20 years ago, but I cannot see how they can get it done in 2
And
days.
you were racing till dark.
Yes.
That year.
Chris or Dave, you guys have anything else to add?
So I've run both years there. The south side of the lake is where it takes the wind. It's really close to Lake Ontario, so the wind blows north to south generally. The pit area is nicer on the south end, I would say, but the north end is pretty well protected. There's a considerable amount of milling area, and the course is relatively nice. I mean, we've tested there. It will make for a nice nationals course. To Sean's point, wind is a problem anywhere. I do think of the locations on this lake, this is probably the best site for ensuring a lower probability of blowout.
Yeah, I think everything Chris said is right. I'll just touch on the other side is, the pit area and the, camping. It is a public campground owned by, I believe, the city. So they do have a number of year-round tenants there. It's a popular thing to do in upstate New York. Park a camper at the lake all year. But I think the intention is there's a big field, is to be able to park campers and RV, kind of dry parking in that field, and you would be, steps from your pit area. As far as convenience, there's a town right there. There's places to get food and water, whatever bike or walk distance.
There's a couple of restaurants within walking distance, I think like a brewery or something.
Yeah.
There's hotels within about a 25 minute drive.
Hotels are.
Yeah, and Syracuse is about 25 minutes up the road. There is a Red Roof Inn in Fulton. I don't know if it closed. I went to book it, and it said something about it being closed. It's also not a place I enjoy staying.
Well, that's good. That's really a great testimony.
There's a nuke plant near there.
There are more than 1-star hotels within a short drive.
I mean, these are all good things.
Yes.
But hearing that they're only going to have 2 days for
That's a
racing,
concern.
Saturday and Sunday,
Huge
I'm
concern.
not saying it can't be done, but it's got to be very well organized.
You can't go into expecting perfection. There's no way you can expect that 2 days. You cannot.
We had gorgeous weather at Springfield, and then we didn't.
Yeah.
And then it was a real challenge.
You're absolutely right.
And so and I will say, Western New York, I grew up there. It is, the weather, even in July, can be challenging.
Yeah.
And I mean, I grew up, my dad helped put races on at Fulton for several years in the 80s. It is a raceable site. The town is definitely behind it, but weather is a concern.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor to have that SORC meeting and have the Fisher's Land or Schenectady Outboard team come to that meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. So we will get a meeting put on the books with that team, and I will schedule it accordingly tomorrow.
Still on championship?
Yeah.
I make a motion that we make a national championship form that lists the club, the location, the entry fee, and all the necessary things, inspector, race chairman, everything down on one grid, and that we have and have the commission be the committee that approves what we're gonna ask, and then we keep a record of what we ask, and then when the people come into the meeting to present to the commission a national championship, they have to fill out the form.
You have a lot, what you just named doesn't often exist at that point in the game.
Yeah.
Hang on. So
But we'll
now
start-
let's start as a motion. So,
Yeah, go ahead.
is there a second?
What was some,
To create a standardized form for submitting national bids, basically.
I'll
right,
second
Lee?
that, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so discussion.
So what you just listed off sounds a lot like a sanction, but you want it preemptively. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I wanna.
Years in advance,
I think.
When the bid is submitted.
It could be a tool to do a lot of things, like,
Yeah.
as a commission, sell the national championship. We know what the entry fees are projected. There's no surprises.
Okay. Do you intend to hold them to that, what, the information that they write down?
What's that?
Do you intend to hold them to the information that they write down and submit? Like entry, let's just use entry fee for an example. They bump into an unforeseen cost, and now entry fee is not what they presented.
They haven't submitted anything there. We don't know.
No, man, I'm saying if we,
And what if they come in and say it's $200?
that's my question to you. What if they say $200 and then all of a sudden it's $350? Because the town wants X amount of dollars for a permit to
I
run
live
the
with a
event.
lawyer, but I don't ask for any advice.
Well, I think it's
Get it anyway.
I don't really think we can't necessarily hold them by the, but it's a guideline for us to at least get something, except it's at Fulton, New York, woo-hoo, come. So at least it would be a framework
And some of their
for us to,
contacts too.
in
So,
contact. but-
I would suggest, I don't think this is a bad idea, right? I think it's probably a good idea to have a standardized presentation, right, to bring to any commission, right? But Lee, I would tell you to probably rescind your motion and work on that form, and then present it to us to be approved.
Okay, I rescind the motion, I'll work on the form.
I'll take the second.
That's a hell of an idea.
I'm happy to help you with the form,
Yeah.
just thinking about,
Yeah.
our part, what do we know, what do we not know
Yeah,
yet?
before that, I mean, I think it's necessary.
Mhm.
I mean, here we have a situation where we don't even have anything to look at, and they're holding the nationals, and
5 months.
it's only a month drive for guys from the West Coast. Oh, really?
What's stopping APBA from putting a rule in the general racing rules that the nationals must submit a sanction with certain requirements for the nationals? X amount of time before the nationals.
You're saying APBA is a sanctioning body or stock
No, I'm
outboard?
saying like you have to submit a sanction to the race. In the rule book, there's a whole list of rules just for the nationals. What's putting a rule in that just says, for the nationals, the sanction must be submitted before X time with X information.
So,
I'm not saying the sanction has to be approved, because sanctions get pended months, if not years in advance, or a year in advance. So let's just saying, stopping from saying the sanction has to be, some kind of sanction has to be put on the books for the nationals with information. Instead of having a form, you just use the sanction form already.
yeah, you could. I mean, if somebody feels strongly, they could make a motion, but TJ.
One thing I was wondering about, if you make this form and have to have it, we are looking at 2027, 2028 at the other commissions I've been to and committees. So they're gonna have to have all that information before they can present that at
That's what I'm getting at. You can't get a race committee on paper 3 years ahead of time.
Right.
Correct.
You can't do it.
No, but by the national meeting for that year's nationals, you should be ready.
Yes.
Look, I don't.
Absolutely.
And having a representative in the room would be nice.
We do have an issue here that we have a lot of questions about this year's nationals that are not being answered. We're gonna have a meeting with the race committee to get those answers. I don't think that Lee's idea is necessarily a bad idea, but I am conscious of trying to over-legislate in response to a problem when we don't even really know if there is a problem yet. We're concerned about it, which we should be, but let's get the report from the race committee, and then let's decide if we need to do something going forward. I'm not necessarily opposed to a form of specifics to tell us what it is that you're gonna do when you apply for a nationals, but.
So we have no power.
Or even a general.
Hey, guys.
Anything.
Order, please. Monica?
LPC, just for reference, if you are making a championship bid, you have to there's a form that we use that you fill out, and it has, for us, prize money, what the entry fee is. It's a pretty basic form, but if you're making any type of championship race event bid, you have to submit that when you make the bid, just for reference.
Monica, would you share that with Lee, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Nick?
Point of order, the motion was rescinded and seconded, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Can we move on?
I agree.
Moving along.
It's 2:45. Was Dawson Kelleher out of Virginia. Those awards will be given out tomorrow night tomorrow mid-afternoon at the category awards. Well, most of them, if I get my bag. So, if not, I'm sorry.
Do we need to
call American Airlines?
Do we need to approve those, or are they already?
They are already done.
Yep.
All right. Bids for future closed course nationals. Again, Fulton is 26. We have previously awarded Wakefield 2027. That will be a combined event for Stock Mod and J, put on by BSOA. And then I have a presentation for 2028 from the Moses Lake team. So Kyle, you want to come up and?
Yeah.
You have your form filled out?
No, but I have a PowerPoint. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. It's better.
We're doing something at least.
There you go.
Oh, man.
There's almost too much, but we'll get through it first.
That's good.
Word of popcorn.
Nice.
All right. So my name is Kyle Ball. I'm here as representative from Seattle Outboard Association. So we would like to put in our bid for the 2028 Stock Nationals. It's going to be our 100th year of racing. We started racing in 1929, and if you include that year, 2028 will be 100 years. We have a couple of dates listed just because we're trying to figure all that out still, but I think mid-July is definitely going to happen for this event, just one or the other. So the plan is to have stock and junior already approved national championships. We'll be doing the Western Mod Divisional as well at the same location. Mods have previously committed to Depew for 2028, so we wouldn't be able to have that category for Moses Lake. But we still have 3 categories, still plan on doing all 3 there, which means the Divisional will be a separate day. We'll also be putting in for some, next year we'll be putting in some bids for Mod North American Championships. So we have a lot of communications for the Nationals, like we've done previously, which includes having pre-fast race results, schedule announcements within our information tent. Also have a text alert system, fax access to race results, and then we have a website built already from 2024 that we'll utilize for 2028. So what the venue offers, it's a large, expansive pit area. We have on-site camping with for RVs with hookups. Yes, sometimes the power does go out because it's 100 degrees and everybody's running their ACs, but thankfully we have on-site park folks there, and they're always willing to help. They actually built up their power bank from 18 to 24. It was a little bit better, but we'll talk with them a little bit more on that too going forward. We have a nice protected race course in that cove. First turn at the end of our cove. Obviously, Moses Lake, if you've been there, it's a fairly large lake with different fingers off in the corners, so there's plenty of space for other boaters to go to. But our area, we can contain and control. We have really good city and community support. We've been doing nationals there. We've done it. The first one was in the 60s, but we've recently been doing it 2007, 14, 18, and 24. Lodging and amenities, we have tons of hotels in Moses Lake. In fact, leading up to our Western Divisional or Western Championship race, our main hotel was booked for another event. We just went down the road and got 10 rooms booked for our rates, just a little bit further down the road, but not too far. Easy access for airports. There's two. You can fly into Seattle or Spokane, both about roughly 2.5 to 3 hours. As I mentioned, we've hosted multiple national championships. We've experienced with all categories, SOA Run, Stock Mod, Pro J. We have a dedicated nationals committee. Our committee from 24 is going to be refreshed, but we'll have plenty of the same players from the last couple of years that we've been doing this. Plan on having frequent national updates prior to the events, including our website and having our website built for that. A little history on SOA on the left. Been doing racing in the Greater Seattle area since 1929. One of the largest active outboard clubs in APBA. We average about 14 sanctions per year for all those different categories: mod, pro, J, stock. And these are our current club officers and board directors. Oh, someone's teaming me. I don't want to talk to you. Yeah, so. Junior, stock. Yeah. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Just a quick, just to refresh my memory. Years ago, when you made a presentation, I think in 14,
yeah,
you'd indicated that there was a site just down the lake from there that I guess fell through.
Yeah.
That apparently was a bigger, better park, bigger. Any thought to ever going to try to rekindle that, or is that?
No, mainly two reasons for that. It's on a larger piece of water that the wind blows a lot more there, and so the inboards actually do run there, and they've run, up to 1.25 mile record course there. But when the wind comes, there's nothing to stop it in that area. That park is bigger, but it's more of a parking lot. There's no RV. Well, there's a small RV park just in the beginning of the park, but it's not as big. So the park that we currently run at, bigger RVs, a lot closer access to everything like that. Work, man.
Shut up.
The questions?
Just a note, guys, that we did ask, Kyle did come and speak to us last year at the national meeting, and I think we all agreed to have him come back and talk to us again this year. So he is back. He's put together this deck for review.
What is the preferred date, Kyle? You're gonna try to do earlier to keep away from the marathon as much as possible? Or?
Yeah, so in general, doing July early on the West Coast, that way everybody can get back for Depew and Topo. Now that the mods are actually racing nationals at Depew would be the week after 18 and 22. So I think actually having an earlier race date of the 11th to the 15th would be better for everybody. Yeah. Johnny?
The casino would be like the host hotel again, or?
Yeah. Yeah, 10 Pin Brewing is the casino / hotel / brewery. Yeah. Yeah, they do a great job, and they work with us all the time. They just we actually changed the date of our Western Championship, and so when we changed that date, we called back, and they're like, yeah, we're booked already. So that kind of sucked. It fell through, but that's okay. They're still on board and willing to work with us for future dates and races. We're actually running 2 races there this year. Which is new, so we're running another local race actually the weekend after Topo, so I get to fly home and go race to race.
All right, thank you, Kyle.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Ed, did you have a note here as well?
Yes, I spoke with, or in the modern sense, communicated with Laura Wheeler from Michigan Hydroplane earlier today, and I told her that that Michigan Hydroplane is considering a bid for the 2028 National Championships at Grass Lake. However, they would like some additional time to present a proposal to the Racing Commission. I spoke with several of the members of that club earlier today. I told them that I would attempt to and present a request to delay a decision on 2028 to the Racing Commission. So I'll make a motion to table a decision regarding 2028 for the closed course nationals.
I'll second.
Discussion.
When might another bid happen from Grass Lake?
The issue with the lake is there's politics involved at the lake, and I'm told that they believe that they can work that out, but they don't have that worked out today.
6 months, a year?
Oh, no.
Couple months.
Couple months, maybe 60 days.
Would they entertain 29?
Oh, I didn't discuss that with them.
Well, I would think since we're 3 years out, that allowing another 60 days window maybe to convene our commission again and revisit this, I don't think that would alter the plans of SOA, given us so far out. And maybe we should consider listening to what Grass Lake has to offer, take the best option.
I will note that the J category awarded their nationals to SOA Moses Lake this morning, correct? Ryan?
Correct.
Kyle?
I was also going to note, it's unusual to have two back-to-back Michigan nationals since Wakefield's.
That
the year.
was my question, isn't it in Michigan in
Even though it's
2027?
It is.
Yeah.
So there's a motion on the floor to table this for, what was the term there, Ed? Just to table it?
Yes.
Leave it on the table?
Lay it on the table.
Those in favor of tabling it,
Aye.
hands up, please. 1, 2, Lee? Lee, is your hand up?
Yes, it was.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Against? 1, 2, 3, 4.
My hands keep on
6.
Lee,
Lee, you're changing your
That's why he's saying
I thought he said do it again.
That's what I thought he said.
Politics.
Is this in favor or opposed?
This is against tabling it. So,
Tabling.
please, for my own sanity, if you are in favor of tabling it, please raise your hand so I can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those against? Okay, we have tabled it until further notice. Bids for future marathon national championships is next. There's not really anything to do there. Top of Michigan Racing Club was awarded a 5-year bid in 2024. They had 2025 already secured, so that gives them 2026 through 2030. Divisional championships. We will be getting further into this. We approved 3 of the divisions already. To complete this, we will go ahead and approve the 4th one, but there will be further discussion on the divisionals after that. Yeah, Dave.
I need to amend that.
Yours.
Northeast, yes.
Go ahead.
It was brought up to me this morning that Franklin were running a dual sanction with CBF, and that they would not be able to compete in a championship race if there weren't APB members, so we would like to then move our bid to Katanning, Pennsylvania, August 15th and 16th. And we do have testing there on that Friday, which is highly encouraged by the sponsors. They will like to see boats on the water.
And a driver's school too.
And a driver's school.
So 14th and you're testing and you're.
All right.
Oh,
do I have a motion to approve the Northeast Divisionals? Carl?
Yep.
I'll second that.
Dave, second. Any other discussion?
What's the date again, I'm sorry?
August 15th and 16th.
Thank you.
Any objections? Motion passes. The Southeast Divisionals were awarded to Jessup, Georgia on the 7th. Constantine, Michigan has the Central. Western went to Bakersfield, 4th and 5th of October. Marathons were also awarded. Northeast went to Lincoln, Maine, May 17th and 18th. Southeast went to Jessup, Georgia, April 10th or 11th. Central went to Presque Isle, Michigan, May 31st. And there's no Western bid for marathon stations. Bids for North American, the only one received was 300 Hydro, which was awarded to Cora and Newburgh Boat Club for May 23rd and 24th. Are there any other bids for North American Championships? Noted. Bids for future and Eastern and Western Championships, 2027 closed course has already been awarded to Jessup. Again, they got a 5-year bid in 2024, so that gets them 2025 through 2029 races. Is there any Western bids? Okay. That's closed course Eastern and Western Championships, 2027 Marathon, Eastern and Westerns. Bids, okay. And we'll move on. Before we get into our tech proposals that are listed, we'll go back to divisionals. So the mod commission meeting, if you weren't there this morning, we're talking about the implementation of Trackside, right, and what that means. So we had a conversation 6-8 months ago, right, or even a year ago it might have been now, about what it meant for our divisional events, right? And there's basically 2 options. You run 4 divisionals currently, right? And if you live in that division, you get double points, bonus points. If you don't, you get single points, right? And it's done by region. So the scoring team identifies if you're in region or out of region and does that point tabulation. Trackside's not going to be able to do that. They can do it, excuse me, let me be clear there. They can do it, it costs a lot of money to do, right? So in order to try to streamline this, the idea is that we need to adjust, right? So what does that mean for us? It means basically we can continue on with our 4 divisionals if we choose to, right? But that opens the door that you can have folks from any place go to any divisionals and get bonus points. So if you got enough time and energy and money, I guess, you could go to 4 divisional races if you so choose to get bonus points. The other way to do it would be to do more of an Eastern and Western divisional event. So think something along the lines of east and west of the Mississippi River, right? And you could rotate your sites around and have 2 bonus races. Darren, you're here, right?
What's up, buddy?
That is what you guys discussed earlier, correct? Did I miss?
No, I'm sorry, I missed it. Sorry, I was listening. The only difference to. How much is it? For the East-West, if you're already in the Central Division, you would be on the East, which there's people in the Central Division that are west of the Mississippi. So we weren't using that as the actual divider.
Yeah.
If you're already in the Central, you're on the East. Basically, everyone that's already west is west.
Yes. Who decides this?
I mean, we do. We all
Well,
get
we're talking about it.
Yeah. We do. So that's what we have to work towards, finding a solution. And you know, I talked to Darren, I talked to Christy Ellison and Brian Mitchell from the J Committee, and had a good discussion, guys. That the majority of us race across those categories, right? Mod, stock, J, pro, right? We're all kneel down outboarders, right? And a lot of times we're running events together. So I think it's important and an opportunity here to collaborate across those categories and have continuity, right? Because it's already confusing enough, and being like, for our scoring team, or just people in general, trying to explain to them,
It's Trackside.
how are you scoring and how do you get these points, and trying to be like, oh, well, Stock does it this way, Mod does it this way, and Jay doesn't do it at all. Like, that's a possibility here. If everybody just goes and does their own thing, you run into some problems there. So I think it's important that we work together to figure out what the best solution is here. Ed and I were talking earlier, and I think Brian and Darren, I don't know if you guys would be opposed to this, but putting together maybe a couple people from each commission to kind of grind something out and come to a consensus.
We all got gloves.
TJ.
Years ago, you used to be able to go to different divisionals and win high points. They're double points, and that drew a lot of people to. All right, I gotta go to the other division, and so people went there and raced. So you got more participation. So if we did that with 4, and all winners got high points, then it'd be simple for the trackside people, and more points for us, and more racers for us.
Matt?
And of course, that was brought up in the mod meeting, which we sat, the 4 races versus the 2. And I kind of agree with TJ and what they said, that it encourages people to go to these races, which clubs desperately need members. And I'm about club racing, and to have 4 divisionals where theoretically you could pull Millers and some of these other big trailers that show up with multiple entries can make the difference between a club making money and losing money. So I'd fully be in favor of seeing 4 divisionals, and if somebody wants to travel, go for it. It helps the clubs and provides money to those clubs and helps with entries.
Yeah. Chris?
Yeah, I'm leaning in favor as well. I'd say it's, in terms of fairness, it's probably the least fair to the West Coast guys, and I'd like to hear from them.
That's an understatement.
I'd just like to hear from you guys.
Dana, in fact, brought this up in one of our conversations here a month or so ago.
It's inherently unfair to.
Yeah, it's terribly unfair
to those that live on the West Coast, because they cannot go to the Northeast, the Central, and the Southeast. I mean, come on, you can't expect that. But I can. I live in Ohio. I can go to all of them, and I'm not the only one. That's just really to build that in knowing inherently it's unfair.
Yeah, you're taking high points away from anybody who lives on the West Coast now.
And
where's the fairness there?
Yeah, I mean that's a tough pill to swallow.
Johnny and then Austin.
So, just because I can't hear so well back here, the question or the debate is that anywhere you attend the divisionals, no matter your region, you'll get double points.
In theory, yes. We do not make any legislative changes. That's what will happen, yes.
Okay.
Austin.
I was just gonna say the mod did kind of a straw poll, and our majority is leaning towards just going to an East and a Western division, and then rotate it around the clubs that way. That way, it's an entry drawer on the West Coast for their clubs and the East Coast for their clubs.
For clarity too, in the mod one, it wasn't still 3 on the east and 1 on the west. It was their discussion. There would be 2 on the West Coast, 2 on the east. That way, each coast has the opportunity to draw. So it isn't still, call it east versus west, but either a single or double opportunity on each coast.
That is correct. If we stayed with 4, that's what we would do.
Not correct.
Yes, that's fair.
That works.
That's realistic.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I forgot we talked about that earlier.
That's right.
I have a couple volunteers that want to try to tackle this. Or do I just have to start pointing?
I will.
Dana? Who else?
I'll work with
Matt?
it again.
Darren?
One more, one little clarification. We always mention that clubs benefit tremendously and the turnout gets more when you have the divisionals. If you watch statistically over the last 10 years, it hasn't been super numbers. It used to be huge, and I'm just saying with stock when you could qualify for the nationals, that made it an elite divisionals. But so far, and I did all the numbers on our category, and it helps a little, but it's not tremendous. So if you reduce that down to 1 or 2, you make that a much bigger event, and then you got more people going to that one, and that'll help that club even more versus trying to split it over 4 different clubs. So it has its pros and cons. I think everybody's scared about it, and so am I, and so everybody else, but you will benefit by reducing down by the numbers. It'll be more prestigious, I think. But yeah, we, like I said, we tabled it. Me and Sean talked. We have 2 options that we're gonna go with. I can just talk about the 4 or the 2, and we tabled it. With me talking to Sean versus so we can all work together. We can't come to an agreement. It is what it is, but I sure as hell hope we can. I mean, we're all the same boat racers. I don't care what you got on the back. We're all the same person. So
Yeah,
we need to work together.
Darren, and Brian too for you. Matt and Dana are my contingent, if you will. So if we want to try to set something up tonight or tomorrow or in the future, right? Let's figure that out. Johnny.
I think in the same discussion, while you're looking at this, you should also look at high point requirements.
It's already on the agenda.
Okay.
Perfect.
Can we limit the discussion to being 2 or 4?
That's what Mod did. Yes.
Yeah.
That puts us in line with Mod.
Yes.
And I'm sure Brian would, that would agree.
Brian said whatever we want to do,
I'll
right?
say what I said to Mod, is the people in this room tow the J trailers. It makes sense for us to align with what you all are up to.
So if we can stick with what they did, let these guys get in a room,
You good with that?
come out with a number.
You wanna leave here with a decision?
I think it's prudent to get it done within this racing year.
Oh. Before we leave.
Yeah, I think we should get it
Before we
done.
leave New Orleans.
Yeah. Well, the reason I say
Before we
that,
leave.
right, is Caitlin maybe can explain this better than I, but they're gonna test it this year, right? The Trackside scoring system, right? So we need to figure it out.
It's gotta get decided this week so that they can
Well,
build.
it's a little weird because does it involve changing our region around, Kurt? Or
No.
I mean, just pick a location and.
Kyle and then Jill.
Yeah, so I think someone said it, but this isn't we have to decide this year. This is we have to decide before we leave this building. We have to decide today or tomorrow what the new rule is going to be, because they have to test trackside this year. So I'll just say it straight up. We have to test trackside this year, or otherwise we get whatever trackside is, and if it's a piece of crap, we have to deal with it. So this year is our opportunity to test it, figure out what we like, what we want to change. If we don't take that opportunity, we're stuck with a system we could have changed. So we have to make a decision on how to handle the within 24 hours.
My question to you is, are you still gonna stay within your divisional parameter where it's only that person who belongs in that region wins, gets the double points? Or does everybody now?
No.
Trackside can't do that. So
That goes away.
Anybody can go either 2 or 4.
Caitlin, Matt, and then Ed, then we're moving on.
I think what the plan is that Dana and I and those at 4 o'clock, we'll do it right now. As soon as this meeting adjourns, we'll meet and discuss it.
Caitlin.
I was just gonna say on the note on Trackside, tailing off of what Kyle said, everybody on the Trackside committee is dedicated to making sure that not only just the registration portion of it, but the scoring portion is also done right and done well. And so we're putting a lot of time and dedication and conversations into it, and want to make sure that when we do test it, and we need to test it, that it's almost as ready with very minor tweaks, so then we can start rolling it out with the intention, hopefully, of next year. So we're trying, but we want to make sure that we're doing it the right way and not putting out something that, might cause more headaches down the line.
Ed.
I was ambivalent about 2 or 4, but after I heard what Kyle just said, I would say make it 4. Because then if the program will run 4, the commissions can decide we're only going to give 2 later. Unless there's something I don't understand about the way Trackside works. We just only award 2. But if the system is built to handle 4, then it can handle up to 4. If it's only built to handle 2, then we're never going to get 4. Never.
You can do as many as you want.
that part of it's easy. They can do bonus point races 100 million times all year if they want.
Yeah.
It's the regionalities of the divisionals that makes it hard that they can't do.
Yeah.
So if we start with 2 and we say we want to switch to 4, that's just a rule change.
Okay.
And I think that we should do one or the other this season, and we can test it and say, hey, we do or we don't like it.
Agreed. So Matt and Dana, you guys get together, work that out, and then connect with me, and we'll get to the other folks. All right. Moving on to our tech proposals. I'm gonna skip around a little bit here from the published agenda. We're gonna go to number 2. There's been a proposal to create a rule for 20 hydro and C hydro. It states there should be a maximum tuck of 1/2 inch and a minimum setback of 4 inches. So if there's a motion, I would entertain it now.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Matt, go ahead.
Let me pass this out for everybody. As the crowd knew, I think, from mentioning, 3 more. Oh, just keep going. We have a Slack topic board that we discuss most of our issues on. And of course, this one became a hot potato right away. And we got a lot of input from many members, pro and con. And whatever.
These are extras.
These extras. You guys got some over there? Okay.
Yeah, we're good down here.
Hand them out to the people in.
Oh, yeah, I guess, everybody's got one here. Anybody wanna just glance at some of the comments? So anyway, this is one of the topics that we were asked by President Fairchild last fall after the tragic incident at Springfield. I think all the commissions were tasked with just brainstorming and try to come up with some ideas that would improve safety. Maybe not necessarily what would have prevented this tragedy, but looking long-term and some things that we've done in the past and maybe we could do in the future to benefit our sport. And there was many responses, everything from raising age limits in some of the classes, raising weights up, raising weights down, reducing the number of boats on the course, and of course, changing transom heights around, going to longer boats, reinforced cockpits, longer race courses, better radius turns, and of course, a tuck rule to modify the way our engines are tucked in to improve handling and prevent potential incidents from happening. So, just a couple things on the history in stock outboarding. And I had to kind of refer to one of my historians, R.C. Howie, who generally refreshes my memory on a lot of things, but I go back into the 1980s, and at that point in time, we did not have transom heights on any of our classes in stock outboarding. And a guy named Craig DeWald with Howie Pickrell and President Mike Jones at the time came up and made it happen. And it was a bloodbath, as you can imagine, because, as Ed likes to say, nobody likes safety rules or change. But it happened. And a lot of the negative comments, Craig said he received Christmas cards with hate mail. But regardless, it got through. And I think we're all better off today because of it, and I don't think we'd ever consider racing without height, which is what we have to help keep us safe and protect ourselves from ourselves, which I think is the job of the SORC and our leadership. Safety first, and if you read the mission statement, which is attached here, that is one of the main things I think we try to do, is to keep each other safe with safety rules that make sense. And that's what we're here today to do, to see if any of this makes sense. So going from the 80s, once the height rules were put in, we moved a few years later into the early 2000s, when the innovators, the tricksters, came in a way to beat the height rule, came up with a little trick A-stock hydro boat that could run extreme tuck, and that was noted by the SORC and the people involved, and I believe Ed was involved in those days with this, and that was a bloodbath. But a tuck rule got put in A-stock hydro, which to this day I think has made A-stock hydro safer, competitive, and nobody complains anymore. It's done. It happened, everybody accepted it, and we went on. Rolling ahead to 2011, I was on that commission. Seems like I've been around for all of these decades, but regardless, in 2011, Jeff Brewster, Dave Anderson, and myself and a few others created 300 SS Hydro, TJ of course, and a couple of the things that were critical in developing that class in order to prevent what we've known from history what can happen, we put in a modest tuck rule on a modest setback rule to try to prevent people from skirting the intent of the safety rule. And here we sit, 15, 20 years later, and we're looking at a similar proposal again. And again, I would preface it by saying, nobody likes safety rules or change, but again, I think it's the SORC's job to look at these things as we were asked to look at and try to prevent potential future incidences. And again, not to say that this was the cause of what happened in Springfield, but it is an idea that we put out for discussion. And we've got a pile of feedback here, and if you guys read the letters from some very, very influential and seasoned people in powerboat racing, you'll see their opinions, pro and con. And we should all take a little minute here to read them without just jumping to what our knee-jerk reaction would be to vote no and just, we don't want to do that because it's going to hurt somebody's trailer box or whatever it might be. And at the end of the day, look at our mission statement and what we should be doing to try to come up with safer protocol for what we are, which is stock outboard. The innovators, you can go to pro, you can go to mod, you can go wherever, but to me, stock outboarding should look more like 300 SS Hydro than C-stock Hydro. Well, I rest my case, sir.
Discussion? Go ahead, Kyle.
What testing data do you have?
The eyeball data, like Craig DeWald had in 1986.
So the SORC has adopted that any kind of technical changes like this need testing data. And the fact that there's no testing data, I immediately precludes this from moving forward.
TJ.
Mark Tate sent phone calls to, I don't know how many people are in there. I forgot to bring
probably
up.
70. Here's a this is a roll call here for everybody he contacted. Jesus. Went there. He was testing. So it lists the name, what region they're from, whether he called or emailed, whether they sent a letter, whether they were a boat builder, an inspector, driver. So there's a roll here if you guys want to look at it.
He called me New Year's morning at 6 in the morning.
That was a punishment.
Great conversation.
There were out of all the people that are on that list, there were only 2 people that wanted the tuck roll. And each one of them had sent a letter, which is in that book. I have mine.
I have the
bring it
letters
down
here.
I was kind of a hurry.
Oh, you can look at the legend there.
Ed.
Look, I haven't been around as long as Lee Sutter or Matt DiAgostino, but I've been around a long time. And the request for data is always the excuse to oppose a safety rule. There's been plenty of times where there has been data in front of the SORC, and the SORC has rejected the data. So I don't think that's a barrier at all to a safety rule. As far as lists of people who oppose the safety rule, people overwhelmingly opposed this kill switch lanyards. We used to race without kill switch lanyards. People opposed that. People opposed the height restrictions. Mark Tate I like Mark Tate. I get along with Mark Tate now. But when I was the chairman and we implemented the tuck rule, Mark Tate went on a drive like he has done with regard to this proposal. Whether or not people oppose it shouldn't be the ultimate decision with regard to a safety rule. Now, I don't necessarily support this proposal. I seconded it because I think it's worthy of discussion. I think it's worthy of our time to decide and carry out the directive that former President Fairchild gave us to discuss safety rules. But the arguments that people are opposed to a safety rule, I'm sorry, to me carry zero weight whatsoever. I mean, if it's going to eliminate racing, I'm concerned about that. But I think we ought to be concerned about whether or not this is going to improve safety. I'm not convinced it is, by the way. I'm just addressing the comments that we need data and there's people opposed to this. That shouldn't really carry much of or any weight regarding a safety rule.
I do agree with you, Ed, that we were asked to look at our practices and equipment and everything. And we all know why we were asked that question. We were charged with that. But if you read these letters and look at this ledger here, if you talk to boat builders and inspectors that understand how this equipment works, the proposal does not help. Because the big difference between 300 and sea hydro, there are specs on the boat for 300 holes. There's pretty strict measurements in there. You do have some wiggle room. Sea hydro is like the Wild West. People have their own designs. I ran a Fernell Flyer last season or season before. Very markedly different than Mark Tate's boat. So that's the problem is the variance in the hull design. And this proposal is pretty unprecedented because we don't have the same restrictions as 300 holes. So we don't know what it's going to do. So we should look out for our members and maybe make a decision for them and not just listen to the grumbling in the crowd. But you gotta look at the experience in this book here and listen to what they're telling you. It's very wide open, and it's probably not going to help at all, if not make things worse. So it's going to cost a lot of money. So that's all I have to say about that.
Any other discussion? Spencer's.
Is this are you guys basing this on stuff that happened this summer?
The thing that Matt was talking about was the directive by Chris.
It's not based.
Right.
I mean, is that what we're doing the tuck rule?
No, nobody's pointing to that as being the cause. No.
Okay,
We
because
don't
he was
know.
running exactly a half-inch tuck. I put the motor back on there and measured it 2 weeks ago, so this rule wouldn't have helped that situation at all. So just throwing it out.
You guys were asked to do
I'm
this a
not
couple seasons ago,
in
right?
favor, or I'm not on one side of the
Chris
river.
asked.
Yeah.
This conversation.
I got you. Thank you, Spencer. Any other? Kyle.
I'll say I have very limited input in the outcome of this. As an inspector, this is a pain to do. I mean, we can do it, we do it. So just be cognizant of that. If this passes, it's gonna, especially at championship events, it's a lot of inspection time. But coming from a category that has no height or setup restrictions for the most part, going faster at the same weight, I can set my boat up to crash every time if I want. I choose not to. So at a certain point, you're trying to legislate against personal responsibility for how your boat handles. And, I get what you're trying to do, but then the next thing that comes that's, even more dangerous than more tuck, supposedly dangerous than more tuck, they're just gonna come up with something new and it's just a recursive cycle. So I mean, just be cognizant of that. There's a whole other category where we have there's one class, the Formula A classes that actually have height and tuck. Everything else that goes a lot faster it's open season. We don't have the same issues. I understand there's, you know, more differences in our engines that contribute to competitiveness, but we don't crash every heat with it being open season, so I don't understand why this is suddenly a solution to that. So just food for thought.
TJ, then Johnny.
As an inspector, it has to be a nightmare. When you have to measure the tuck, you have to take the prop out first, and then put a gauge on it. To do it accurately, you put a gauge on the prop shaft, and crawl underneath the boat and measure, front to back. I set my regular setup gauge. I cut that 1/2 inch tuck in it when the 300 class came out. I told that to Alan Brown. He said, send it to me. So I did. He called me up and said, why do you cut that old gauge, we'll just add a piece to the top, to the new gauge, make a new gauge with a tuck built into it. So that's what he did. And that's what we use now. But to use a digital gauge, it's not accurate. If you got one that was close, then you have to do the same thing with the Brown gauge and crawl underneath the boat. And at divisionals or nationals where you gotta measure everybody, it's gonna take a lot of time.
Johnny.
You know, I've raised the gamut of stock outboard classes and other categories as well, but, you know, my question is, you know, if you do push this through, how long is it until you push it through for every other class? And, you know, it's just, you know, you're picking on C hydro, right now, but look at the numbers, you know, there's a lot of accidents in B hydro, you know, you're running 3 different engines in that class, all with, you know, what you like to put on paper as parity, but we know it's not, you know, different gear cases, different, you know, driving ability, in many classes, so just keep that in mind when you're doing this, like, you know, what is the end goal to, is it to limit one class, or are we changing the sport right now?
Nick, and then
Kyle. This comment and question is for the inspectors in the room. I appreciate what you guys do, but when you tell me that this is gonna be difficult, I understand what you're saying, but it's kind of a cop-out when it comes to trying to achieve safety. On the other hand, you guys have a lot of brain power and a lot of experience. Look at the proposal, how it's written, the official proposal. And could you guys try to highlight what you see happening in the future? If this was to pass, what would people do to make your life a living hell? And how would it skirt the rule to where it wouldn't do anything at all? All it would do is just change and cost money and possibly create a new danger. Do you guys see anything like that with the way the proposal's written? Because I've talked to other inspectors and they see rather large and concerning gaps in the proposal to where, where owners and drivers can dance around it.
It in itself is hard to do. And you get the occasional boat that's got some special built-in qualities, and it gets harder.
Right.
Not impossible.
Well, that's
And
just
all
it.
it's-
Setback from where? Because they'll start screwing with
They
that.
would certainly be motivated to try harder now.
Yeah.
I don't
And
doubt
we
it.
stop them.
Kyle, and then Ed.
Yeah, I had 2 comments. So I wrote a letter. It's not in here, but it's, you guys So, 2 things. So the OMC tuck was regulated because it has a water pump. And we were able to tuck underneath the bullet of the gear case was under the bottom of the boat and almost touching the bottom of the boat. In fact, I did that for 3 years. And I had 3 different setups. I had a smooth water, medium water, rough water, right? And I had to be a smart 16-year-old and be able to tell him, can I run that? And I absolutely would go to a rough water setup if I needed to, just because, even though it was slower. People can self-regulate themselves. That's my first point. Second point is, that situation was so extreme. Those boats were all over the place, back end sliding out left and right, and there was no consequences to the motor overheating. Moses Lake Nationals, first heat at the Nationals, in the finals. I was set up in my normal 9/16, went out and got, I don't know, 6th or 7th. Needed something else? All right, let's jack it up and kick it into 7/8. I go out there and I burn my motor up to 500 degrees. And I just spend another $700 to rebuild my motor, right? Like, it's not a very smart thing to do. And did I have handling issues? No. I'm a big boy though, so. I think you're trying to regulate something that doesn't need to be regulated. The motor already self-regulates it by heating up, overheating. And not a lot of people are doing that far, Tuck. Talking about maybe 5 guys, maybe 10 tops in this country that are doing that out of 70, 80 drivers. We're not talking about regulating a whole class, we're talking about regulating a few people. So.
Thank you, Rob. Ed, and then Matt.
Yeah, well, I want to answer Nick's question. I know he posed it to the inspectors, but before that, the issue, I agree with what Kyle just said about the Yamatos being self-regulating, except the SORC allowed the opening of the water intake hole, which that has made that problem worse. It's made the safety worse. It hasn't made the overheating worse. It's made it better, but allows people to jack the engine up. But the answer, I'm going to oppose this. I'm not going to vote in favor of it. I seconded the motion. I'm going to vote against it because, and I think Dana brought this up in one of our meetings, and you just made this point. You have to address a package to deal with the entire situation. If you just lower the heights, then you're going to encourage tuck. If you just lower the height and the tuck, then you have to deal with setback. And if you do both of those three, now you have to deal with boats, boat sizes, bottom widths, because you can build around. I don't build boats, but I do design them, and then somebody else builds them for me. And you can design around that, and I totally agree with that. And so just addressing it piecemeal is either not going to fix the problem or it's going to make it worse. But I do think that we need to look at, especially the engines that have water pumps, but also the Yamatos, a way to control the speed, because I think the classes, most of them, maybe not all of them, but quite a number of them are going faster than they really should go for their horsepower, their weight, and the size of the driver.
And the ability.
And I'm sorry?
The ability of the driver.
And ability of the driver.
And again, part of this in our conversations evolves around the new people that come into the sport, come out of our driving schools, which is the way we get people nowadays, to try to see them emulating some of the setups that people have and them trying to copy that and risk potentially getting hurt and not be able to keep up, so to speak. It just separates the distance more and more from the have and the have-nots in our classes. And again, I just go back to what we are, stock outboard, not the wild, wild west of mods or whatever, but making an attempt to make us all more competitive, more on an even playing field, and safer. And Ed's right. I mean, there's always a cause and effect. You lower the heights a little bit, boats, props, if you tuck, it's gonna, it is a combination, but I think this is a discussion we need to have. I don't know where it goes from here, but I think it's worthy of the big picture, which is to try to make things safer, more competitive, more cost-effective, if you will, which is driving everybody out of the market now. And this was just one of the ideas that is worthy of discussion.
Johnny.
Nick. Certainly a worthy discussion. I think we needed to have this discussion. This proposal is for 2 classes, and I think we could all agree that they're probably the 2 largest classes in our category, right? If not, very, very close.
It quite frankly should be hydro. I don't know why it was presented, but
because of the other 2 engines in there.
It's well,
yeah, that's very hard.
It's the Yamato, basically.
Yeah. So point being, somebody and a whole group of people came up with 300 Superstock Hydro. Beautiful package. And how many, we said we had 3 engines, 1 on the West Coast, 2 on the East Coast. Yeah. So we have those available for our driving school individuals that, let's go. I would really like to see a boat available. I have some at my house if they want to take them home.
CBRA has 2.
Yeah.
I need 1.
Yeah, so.
Also in my garage.
very thankful that we have other classes like AX for the kids, JAX. We have 300 hydro for the dads that are not really ready to rock and roll with Dana Holt here. And I think we have an outlet for those new guys, and they can hang around for a few years. And they're going to find a mentor, and they can really, let's go testing. Explain this to me. Tell me about setup. Okay, let's go on a nice calm day testing. Try it and see what it looks like before you go to a big race and wad yourself up. So I think we have ample opportunity for new guys. 20C hydro, very stout. I think it's very hard to win a heat of C hydro, and that's kind of the beautiful thing about it, because when you do, it feels awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Kurt,
Motion, we call the question.
all in favor of calling the question? Any opposed?
We're on this, you jumped to the second.
Proposal, so all in favor of instituting the, motion to create a tuck and setback rule for 20 hydro and C hydro? All in favor? All opposed? Motion fails.
Can I say one more thing? No. And just on the touching on the safety portion, right? Like I love that APBA asked you guys to do that, and I think there's other ways that we can do that, whether it's neck restraint requirements or lowering the amount of boats on a course, something like that. I think there's something we could still do, right? Throwing it out there.
I got you.
That failed too.
So, real fast, we're up against time here. To go back to the divisional discussion, just a straw poll, if you will. Is everyone in favor of those two options that we laid out? The 2 or the 4?
Yes.
Just same as mod?
Yes. We'll meet right now and talk.
Okay. So Dana and Matt, you guys have that information. Is also another poll, is everyone here in favor of supporting the BOD OMC A gear case?
Hell yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Any opposed? I will write a letter to the board, letting them know that stock does approve.
Well, and there's a lot more outlets for it too, because
Absolutely.
obviously Bennett's 25.
I'm saying if we're all in favor, right, that gives the board what they need to say, hey, stock needs it, Jay needs it, mod needs it, whoever else, right? Okay. It is 3:58. Our next, we will recess until tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
Right here, right?
in this room.
9 a.m.
9 a.m.
9 a.m.
We are in recess.
You just stay here.
Yeah.
We'll bring him up to the table.
Recess.
Thanks.
On this?
Yeah. I think I might have a flat. Oh, look at that.
All right.
Oh, no. I'll get it.
Nope, I got it.
All right. Look at how that landed. You drop a thing 100 times and that.